Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another video for Godfall, and today I want to take a deeper look at gameplay and combat and speak specifically about a couple of the weapons. If you caught the most recent Godfall gameplay that was shown during the State of Play, the PlayStation livestream, then you would have seen some new gameplay, you would have seen a little look at some new Valor plates, which we'll be speaking about in a later video this week. But they also took some time to break down some of the weapons and give us a better look as to how they work. Because of course up until this point we've seen plenty of gameplay, or at least a fair amount of gameplay, but we haven't really had too much of an idea as to how things start to fall together. I did of course have a chance to do an interview, and if you guys haven't seen that I will link it down below. That did shed quite a lot of light on the game and definitely gave us a better idea as to how things will play. But now that we've had this kind of gameplay breakdown, we get a better understanding on a per weapon basis as to, how combat may play out. So let's talk about that. Of course, if you guys do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated. If you guys are excited for the game, or you just want to learn more, then make sure you stick around because it's a game that I'm personally really excited for. I plan to cover it extensively, so if you want to find out more about the game, then definitely subscribe, turn on those notifications so you don't miss our future videos. Now, start at the top, of course, for any of you guys that might have missed it, Godfall works around 5 weapon classes. There are Longswords, Dual Blades, Polearms, Warhammers, which are two-handed, and Greatswords, which are also two-handed. Each weapon class has their own unique movesets, and one of the questions that was answered in my recent interview is that your moves are weapon-specific and not Valor Plate-specific. So, of course, when it comes to your different combos, that is going to be influenced by the weapon that you wield. Weapons carry primary and secondary traits. They, of course, have light attacks, heavy attacks, and other special abilities. And they said that later on they will be talking about ways in which weapons can be modified. Now, they didn't expressly say what they mean by this. I don't know whether they mean modify it in terms of changing the base combos, modifying them in terms of, giving them additional properties. Maybe we're talking about statistical changes. There's a lot of things that we don't yet know about this stuff. So one thing to take away from this is that what we are seeing for each of these weapons is not everything. I don't know quite how extensively it does go. I don't know whether there is a considerably deeper system to this, or whether kind of what we're seeing here is almost all of it. But the point is, this is only part of the picture. Anyway, with that being said, in the video they shared recently, they spoke about 2 weapon classes, Dual Blades and Longswords. For Dual Blades, this is of course the fastest weapon class in the game. If you kind of have played games with Dual Blades before, or kind of twin daggers, then it's kind of to be expected, right? It's all about speed, fluidity, mobility, get in, get out, dish out a lot of damage, that kind of stuff. It's very good against single targets and soft unarmored targets. Your basic combo is 4 consecutive light attacks. This is your bread and butter, and you can use this of course to dish out quick damage. But you then have a heavy attack, which is the Spinning Blade Cyclone. You could also use this as a finisher at the end of your light attack combo, so you can of course go in from, that quick bread and butter combo straight into the Blade Cyclone. Now on top of that, of course, on top of your basic attacks, you also have signature moves. So for the Dual Blades, you have the ability to basically, whenever you're attacking, you build charge. And when you activate this, or when you use this charge, you can activate Inner Focus. This is unique to the Dual Blades, and this is basically a move that inflicts massive damage in a short amount of time. I kind of liken it to, say, Demon Dance in Monster Hunter. This one looks like it goes on a little bit longer, but principally, you build a meter, and you then use that meter to dish out a lot of damage. It's kind of cool. Of course, on top of that, it also has Mortal Coil, which is very awesome. We've seen this in the trailer, but they've actually put a name to it now. Mortal Coil is the Dual Blades move where you basically throw out one of your blades and it has this coil attached to it, and you can use it to grab and pull enemies towards you. In some of the gameplay clips, it does also look like you can use it to pull yourself towards them, so maybe there's some kind of augmentation there. But basically, this is a move that's going to allow you to get into the thick of combat or bring combat to you very quickly so you can maintain that damage uptime. However, on top of that, we also got to look at the Longsword. This is your balanced weapon. From the way they've kind of described it and sort of shown it so far, it's probably going to be one of those like starter weapons. Not to say it won't be good end game, but what I mean is like the weapon they'll probably put in your hand to begin with and be like, hey, this is how you learn the game. It's a balanced weapon, simple cooldowns, crispy damage, and doesn't necessarily need any like super elaborate combo setups. It again has a 4-hit light combo attack, and your heavy attack finisher comes at the end of the light combo. However, this has 3 special moves they spoke about. Again, keep in mind, we don't know necessarily if that is the max. We don't know if there are more specials you can unlock later, but from what they've spoken about thus far, you have Spectral Flurry, which can't be interrupted, deals high damage to multiple targets, and of course just basically dashes between them. We've seen this in quite a lot of the gameplay videos. You kind of go into this sort of like golden spectral look, and you then just like dash between targets. Very, very cool. Kind of reminds me of sort of like shinobi, like ninja style attacks, those sort of like shadow damage things. It's really cool. One interesting question I do pose here, they've mentioned that this is specifically good at attacking multiple targets, obviously given the nature of the way that it kind of darts around, but I do wonder how effective it'll be if you use it on, say, a single target. If you liken it to something like a recent game like Bleeding Edge, one of the characters in there, Demon, he has a move very similar to this, where you basically dart between people in a circle, and if you use it on multiple targets, it spreads the damage. Meanwhile, if you use it on a single target, it actually focuses all that damage on one target, so you kind of have merits for using both of them. So there could be interesting ways to play with this. On top of that, you have Spiral Technique, which eviscerates all enemies in a straight fixed path, which is very cool. Basically kind of like, you know, line them up and knock them down. And you then have the Shield Uppercut, where when you perform attacks with the Longsword, you'll actually see this white circle that appears, and this is what they call a timing attack. If you press the shield button at the right time, you can then perform a Shield Uppercut, which is very cool. And of course, on the topic of the shield in itself is another component as well. This is actually something that is available to all weapons. Every character has a shield throughout the entire game, and you can use it to block incoming attacks. Obviously, it's a shield, that's hardly rocket science. You can also use it to parry, so of course if you get that block timing down. However, you can also perform a light attack after a last second shield block to counterattack with a powerful shield strike. You can also aim and throw your shield, very sort of Captain America style, and if you tap the shield button as it comes back to you, just as you're about to catch it, you can perform a powerful shield wave attack. You can double tap the shield button to petrify enemies, and you can even use it to perform a ground finisher on knocked down enemies. So it is pretty extensive, and the fact that you can use it with everything. Initially, I remember when we saw the very first Godfall trailer, I thought it was like sword and shield, but the fact that you've got this on everything means that even something like a greatsword or like a two-handed warhammer, you can start blocking, which is kind of nuts. Like, you don't often think about using a shield with a two-handed weapon, so I want to see more of that. But anyway, for the time being, that is kind of a look at those weapons. Now, I've seen like one of the kind of main comments from a lot of people, and I definitely see this from some of the gameplay, is that people have been saying that a lot of the combos, they look quite similar, and it looks like you kind of go through the same combo flows a lot of the time. Now, it's of course difficult to say at this point because we haven't played the game, so I don't know whether that's just because that's all they're showing right now, or whether that is genuinely, you know, how deep the combos go. I'd like to think the fact they said there are ways that weapons can be modified. We also do need to factor in that there are Valor Plate abilities as well. I'm hoping there is like another layer of depth to this so we can start learning like more extensive combos, because, you know, when you've got a game with like weapon classes, it's always nice to start kind of going deeper. You think about something like Monster Hunter, where yes, you've got your bread and butter moves, but there are lots of different permutations that you can use based on different inputs. I'm really hoping the game does give us that option, but of course right now we still don't necessarily know too much about that. So, you know, there are questions that I want to find, that I want to get answered and whatnot, but I still really like what I'm seeing. The game still looks fantastic, and I genuinely cannot wait to jump in. So yeah, if you guys are excited for this, you want to find out more about Godfall, definitely stick around, because yeah, we'll be doing more videos. In fact, there's a video later on this week that I want to do talking about Valor Plates, so stick around for that. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget, if you haven't already done so, you can join the Arekkz Gaming Discord. We've got an awesome community over there with so many different channels for you to chat loads of different topics and different games. I'm in there, the team's in there. If you guys want to chat with us, find people to play with, it's just in general a great place to be. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of our future uploads.